when you are building in innovations, right? The first and the foremost goal is that in no way my BAU working, business as usual working, those systems is impacted.
Right.
So accordingly, you need to do the proper assessment with respect to the risk and how it is going to impact my legacy system. In fact, it should not impact, it should complement.
Do you think compliance or regulatory, bodies play a major role when it comes to adoption of new technologies or bringing any kind of innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. So whatever we do in technology, especially in the BFSI, it has to comply with the guardrails, with the communications which we receive from the regulator, right? So there are the master directions which come from regulator. So when it comes to like new solution onboarding, new vendor onboarding, vendor performance reviews, the way like all validations, whether they are baked in, there is no data compromise. The way data is secured when you are actually capturing that, it is encrypted. So all these things goes like you have to basically consider, and you have to work within that frame itself, the guardrails itself, which is stipulated by the regulator.
Hi everyone, you're watching the mainstream. I'm Simran Shivalkar, your host for today, and we are back with a new episode of our weekly live series. Today, I have with me yet another tech visionary leader, Mr. Naval Lad. Firstly, Naval, thank you so much for joining us today and agreeing to do this with us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simran. Look forward.
Well, Naval needs no introduction. I will still take this opportunity to share a few things about him. He is currently a Chief Technology Officer at Axis Finance Limited with nearly 3 decades of experience in driving IT-led transformation across retail banking. Naval has led mission-critical initiatives right from customer onboarding and VKYC to enterprise record, CRM, and automation. A strategic thinker and solutionist, he is also known for building tech that delivers business impact. Today, we are more keen on his journey, his vision for the emerging technology, and his ideas about up and coming tech. Naval, firstly, thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, nearly 30 years of experience, and 30 years of being in this space in BFSI technology leadership. How has the journey been, and what's one fundamental principle that's always remained true, even as tech stack keeps evolving over the years?
Yeah, sure. So I have seen technology transformation over the years across my assignments. And one thing is that there has to be a constant change.
Right.
So whatever is there 2 months back, 6 months back, something new will come up and you have to adopt. You have to align with the new trend, and you have to, as a technology leader, you have to fit whatever we are delivering as per the user ask, user needs, without compromising the speed and agility. So that is what it is. Tech has been the key enabler for the businesses. It is definitely a major tool in enabling the businesses, growing businesses, but it cannot be the only goal when it comes to basically priority deliveries to our businesses. So it is key enabler, key spine, you can say, for the business growth. That remains the ultimate fact.
For industries across all the sectors, tech remains the backbone to support businesses, right?
Right.
Well said.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Naval, for answering that and kind of, throwing light on some of the important aspects. Moving on, I have already mentioned that you've led some critical digital initiatives across, onboarding, reconciliation, and automation. From your point of view, which transformation has led the most significant impact when it comes to customer experience, or say when we combine customer experience with operational efficiency?
So definitely the digital onboarding piece and the digital servicing for the end customers has been the very, very basic, you can say, the key achievement in all my deliveries. So when the COVID actually began, nobody is wanting to basically have a physical visit, right? Either nobody is going to the branch, or nobody, like customers were not appreciating person coming to them in person. So in that case, the challenge came, how do we do the digital transformation of the whole account opening or customer onboarding, right? So we had to basically find out the right solution. how do we enable, again, without compromising speed? So no customer would appreciate if a screen is like having that circle going on for a response to come from the system, right? So sub-second response is the ultimate expectation by the customer without compromising quality. So building the solutions around that, which is coupled with video KYC, because KYC is the most important part of any new customer onboarding. So it has to be complete and full. So having the right video KYC solution, identifying the right video KYC solution, and then implementing it to the expectation was the key challenge. Subsequently came the servicing needs, right? Again, if any customer is wanting to apply for a, say, checkbook or an address change or a change in email address, okay, want to do a stop check payment, etc. So the digital solution with respect to the customer onboarding coupled with video KYC was the key challenge, and actually it actually delivered, and the volumes in terms of customer onboarding or digital servicing, which also we subsequently enabled. So the onboarded customers needs a service, right? So basically, when it comes to checkbook issuance, stop check payment, or change of address, change of email ID, etc. So all these services were required to be made available on a digital platform like a mobile or a web browser application, right? So that also we have enabled during these times, and this actually helped us gain good amount of customer base. There was a very good positive feedback coming from customers. The app actually works. It is a great service offering by Axis Bank, and that actually gave us the immense pleasure, because something which you develop and deliver, right? And when it works and when you get basically good words from your customers, end customers, that is the ultimate satisfaction and good proud moment for all of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, especially in banking and finance, customer experience is now at the peak. There are a lot of, there's an element of competition where you want to give that kind of hyper personalized experience to every
Absolutely.
customer possible. So, thank you so much, Naval. Lastly, I mean, moving on, as someone who is very much deeply involved when it comes to strategic and execution layers, from your perspective, how do you align cross functional teams around long term vision?
Yeah. So the most important thing in this is basically what is the ask, right? What is the business ask? What is the exactly problem on which we are working to provide a tech solution?
Correct.
So that has to be absolutely very, very clear. Then the next step has to be you have to identify the cross-functional teams. So be it from the end business team, be it from the end sales team, be it from an operations team who is going to process the request, and maybe the customer experience team also. So you have to identify who all are the key stakeholders in this solution design, right, or solution usage. Accordingly, you have to build that pod. We call it pod because we have to assemble all these people, create a project team, and then work very, very closely with them in terms of solving the problem. So once you identify the team, then you do a brainstorming in terms of how the solution will shape up, how the solution will work in a real life scenario. Do some prototyping, work on the prototypes, get the feedback, continuously enhance maybe the user experience, UI, UX, and also the underlying workflow which will happen. And of course, it is more of an agile way of working. So creating that cross-functional team in a single pod, work on a solution, deliver the solution, continuously improve the solution, ultimately sign off, go live, and then monitor. So that is the key. And in most of the solutions, if we take wherever there are cross-functional or multiple teams coming together, this approach actually works much better in terms of speed of delivery, in terms of quality of delivery. That is the key.
Lastly, I want to understand from you, from your experience and what you've learned from your journey. In today's era where there is rapid disruption happening, AI is making headlines. We have a lot of blockchain is also kind of taking the center stage, a lot of emerging technologies coming into the picture. What advice or any key recommendations would you give to up and coming leaders in the tech space, be it finance, finance, banking, or any other sectors when it comes to balancing innovations with legacy systems?
Yeah. So most importantly, when you are building in innovations, right, the first and the foremost goal is that in no way my BAU working, business as usual working with those systems is impacted.
Right.
So accordingly, you need to do the proper assessment with respect to the risk and how it is going to impact my legacy system. In fact, it should not impact, it should complement. So whatever functionalities are there, like generally we have seen whenever we are building innovations, we don't touch the core system, right? But we build the peripheral systems so that it will complement the processing of the system. Rather, the workload from the core systems has to get distributed into the peripheral system. So if you see a lot of innovations are happening in these areas. Of course, legacy systems also we do a bit of innovations, but largely these innovations are around this peripheral. So most important thing is that you have to do the risk assessment so that my core will not get impacted by any of the innovations which is this thing. Then you have to basically approach a modular way of working. So basically it has to be broken up into the multiple modules. So you have to build the shared services, shared functions, share modules, and then system will be using those while implementing. Third is of course try to build more and more APIs so that the integrations will become seamless, and whatever automations you are wanting to achieve, they are to the fullest, and they are basically there is no manual handshake or manual interventions which is needed. Fourth, most important point is the information security related guardrails where they are actually implemented. And because if you are enabling something on an internet or a mobile, right, so there is a exposure to the outside world. So whenever that particular module or system is integrating with your core system, no way your information security is compromised, so that your data remains intact, your systems remain secured, and your business is not impacted. And most importantly, you have to basically do the right communication to the stakeholders, including the senior management, as well as the people who are actually using and operating that system, as well as people and employees who are doing the sourcing of the businesses. So all these people, all these main stakeholders should be informed all the time during the phase of innovation. So accordingly, the right communication should go. You can say the right basically broadcast and presentations to be made to them, what exactly is going to change for them and how it will impact them positively. So I think if you take care of these things, it will be very, very useful for a large project implementations and wherever you are trying to bring in the innovations to help the businesses.
Fantastic. And before we move towards the last segment of the session, Naval, I'm keen to know one thing from you, right from the background of banking, finance, or fintech. Do you think compliance or regulatory, bodies play a major role when it comes to adoption of new technologies or bringing any kind of innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. So whatever we do in technology, especially in the BFSI, it has to comply with the guardrails, with the communications which we receive from the regulator, right? So there are the master directions which come from regulator. So when it comes to like new solution onboarding, new vendor onboarding, vendor performance reviews, the way like all validations, whether they are baked in, there is no data compromise. The way data is secured when you are actually capturing that, it is encrypted. So all these things goes like you have to basically consider, and you have to work within that frame itself, the guardrails itself, which is stipulated by the regulator. So whenever in fact any new solutions actually is about to go live, so all these checks are done, the related infosec assessments are done. There is a clear infosec sign off also which comes in. There is a clear sign off from compliance also comes in. And if any observations are there, of course you need to basically work that, close the gaps, and then make ready your solution for go live. So regulation and compliance, regulatory aspects are the topmost priority. You can't like basically do a mistake and miss out on that.
Right. Naval, thank you so much for being, so candid and comprehensive throughout, and quite explaining the behind the scenes of what goes into, the BFSI landscape when it comes to emerging technologies, adoption of technologies, and solution onboarding as well. While we wrap up, I also have a couple of rapid fire questions planned for you. Are you ready?
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
My first question is one tech buzzword that you secretly wish could go away.
So maybe agile, because we have heard of agile a lot.
Every now and then.
Yeah. So
Okay. Any other word that you wish to put?
maybe digital, because digital is being talked every now and then. So nowadays it's a era like where we are actually living digital. Though I know digital is here to stay for quite some more time, but now AI coming in, I think life is going to be a bit more easier. So that is what I can think of.
Right. Well, one morning productivity hack, whether it's coffee, code, or calendar.
It must be calendar only. Correct. So when we
Exactly.
get up, actually, when we get up, then I check my calendar and my day, how it is planned. Accordingly, you start thinking how will you approach the day. Like so, calendar is the most important thing like these days.
Great. If you weren't in tech, you would be.
Maybe a singer.
Okay, nice, interesting. Any favorite singer that you have in mind?
So of course, the old ones is of course Kishore Kumar, any which way.
Right.
In the new age, it is Arijit Singh, any which way.
One gadget you cannot live without, and you cannot say your smartphone.
Yeah, I would say my iPad or laptop, because I think that is a necessity today. Without that, we can't live.
Absolutely, absolutely. And lastly, one piece of advice that you would give out to your younger self.
Okay. So I think the new generation or the new tech guys has to stay focused. They have to have goals which are set, what they want to do, maybe 5 years or 10 years down the line. And basically they have to plan accordingly. So nothing will come easy, right? So even if you set goals, you have to start preparing, you have to do homework and accordingly do progression towards that, towards such. And nothing can change overnight. You have to really make a hard work, plan your steps, and accordingly achieve those steps. It is definitely, it is not on a click, it will happen, but it will be a incremental progression, I would rather say. Lastly, to keep yourself stress free, you should have to have hobby. Like I have a passion and I have a love towards singing. So believe me, it is a big stress buster. So anything, like if you want to play chess, play cricket, play badminton, do some yoga, whatever it is. So you should have to have an hobby, and which you should practice. No, it should not remain only on table or paper. You should actually live it. You should actually practice it. Then only it will help you. So maybe these are the few advices I would like to give my younger generation or younger tech leaders.
Great. I mean, I am sure we all can take some inspiration from that. That goes without saying. When it comes to incremental growth, it has to be both the ways, professionally and personally. You need to have some kind of passion in life. So, thank you once again, Naval, for agreeing to do this with us and giving us a glimpse into your journey, sharing your insights, and being so candid throughout. While we wrap up, I certainly look forward to connect back with you again.
So thank you very much. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.